So you had a realization from the last call?
Yeah, the realization from the last call was that this is really a space for practice. From one side, not having expectations, and in the same time, I mean, as a paradox, having the expectations that the people who will show up collectively, we will we will tap into a higher frequency. And this expectation is based also on my own commitment to show authentically, to contribute to it. And that's something very powerful, because someone told me that before, that why do you have a mentor? Why do you have like a coach? Why do you have people to work with? It's not because it's not only for the wise words or advices or whatever you call it, but it's because you tap into their frequency. Yeah. And that's something which I see in our calls, is that it's amazing people who come. And it's like the frequency which is generated by us being together in whatever wants to emerge, and being okay with it. Being vulnerable, being honest, being our authentic selves, it really rises our collective frequency. And it gives me a lot by being there. Even if, I see it's like sometimes I can be so quiet and not saying a word. Sometimes I can be very active into like having something to share. And it doesn't matter how I show up. It's so much the frequency.
Last call was important for me too, Vihra. I also got a lot from it. I think it was something that Bruce had said, but it was a building from all of us and what happened over time. But I had a really strong sense of being present with a number of other people who were also being present at that moment. It happened for us. Something happened for us that changed the way we entered the meeting. And so suddenly we were in this new, felt to me that we were in this new experience, this new kind of presence that we were feeling. Mm-hmm. And I could feel that each person in the group was a tremendous resource with a lot of depths and a lot of things to say, all very much wanting to give their gifts to us, and wanting to share, this huge resource that people were. And there was no sense of looking for position with them, just that we were like this resource for each other. And I really carried that feeling, followed me after the call. And in some ways, I was actually talking about it earlier today with somebody, that somehow it's present in my experience, that sense, we keep on reminding each other again and again that we're more than this, I must get ahead, must succeed, little rat trying to find our way. We're more than that. And so I really carried that feeling with me. That I didn't carry it. It was present for me as I went on. So, yeah. So, but we don't know what will happen. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what will happen in our next call.
Yeah,
we don't know.
That's a feeling, and it's not a feeling. That's the beauty of it as well, because there is an expectation in the unexpectation. As I was mentioning, that and in the same time there is something else. For example, what I know is in my control is the way I show up. It's a choice I can make, and I can be authentic, or I can, put a mask and play a role, consciously or unconsciously. And this is something which is actually a huge relief, because I trust that by being our authentic self, we raise our frequency collectively. Even me being in this practice, it changes something. So there is something which is trust the process, and I don't know what the session will bring. And at the same time, I know that how I show up is very important, and I have control over it.
I don't always experience having control over it. There's a manager part of me that wants to manage, that I'm going to show up looking wonderful and being smart and intelligent, and sometimes and when I'm doing that, of course, I'm not any of those things. So then I'm just in my own way. So I don't experience that it's fully under my control.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm as a friend whom I've often been on calls with has said, I won't name her, but said that good things happen in spite of us. I don't know if you know that English expression. It's,
Yeah.
They happen. It's something about the magic of people of goodwill coming together that we find our way. But if I already knew how it was under my control, I wouldn't need to go to I wouldn't need to go so much. But something happens that's beyond my control, and that's a wonderful part of it too. But I do appreciate your intentionality around that, and your intention to be telling your truth and finding it as you go. And I notice that you do that.
What I see is that this is a practice, and somehow for me, it's in one of the previous call, it came as one of the principles. Remember, I wanted to kind of like guide us with the principles of the space. And this really stood out for me, that this is a place which is co-created and co-owned. And if we need something, we have to share it. Nobody is going to host us, facilitate us, moderate us, or whatever else into what we want. We only know what we want. So, and this is, it was kind of like, those are the rules.
If we dare to tell the truth,
Exactly. And it's kind of like everyone owns their own responsibility for their own experience. And this takes a lot of pressure from myself, and it takes also a lot of trust in the people that they will do this. And it's a great reminder to me to be in my own practice. Because what takes me away from practicing is me worrying for the experience of other people and taking the responsibility for this. So I'm detaching from my own experience, taking kind of, wanting to be responsible for others.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna share this little part that we did today with others here, because it's a good. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's okay. I was thinking about it.
It's a good summary of what we're about and what we're